For a long time, I thought I understood what momentum was. I thought it meant movement, always moving, always building, always shipping, just always doing. I thought if I was busy, I was progressing. And funny enough, from the outside, it looked like I was. I always had something going on. I always had a plan, always had a goal, always thought I had direction. Well, so I thought. But internally, I was lost. And I don't mean confused in a dramatic way. No, I was just quietly lost. The kind of lost where you don't even know the questions to ask. I spent years chasing ideas I didn't fully grasp. Spent good years building things I truly didn't understand. Years always hoping that this would be the one, convincing myself at every try that this one was going to be it. And every time it wasn't, I blamed myself. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe if I was more disciplined, maybe if I was bolder or I had tried something else, just maybe I wasn't built for this. So what did I do? I worked harder. I mean, harder. I didn't stop to think. I didn't stop to question. I didn't pause to reflect. I just added more hours, more effort, more pressure, and just kept going at it like it was all that I knew to do. I honestly thought that if I just kept going, one day I would outrun the confusion. But confusion never gets tired. The truth of the matter in itself is, I wasn't lazy, I was misaligned. We spend all the time talking about fear, procrastination, all different reasons why founders never get it and builders never stop building and become entrepreneurs. But we miss this one critical thing. Critically, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what they're building towards. There's this goal to just keep on building to things that do not even meet your conviction, or things that you don't really think the market needs, or things you won't even use if you're in the market. Just building because the market wants it. And yes, to a depth of building, that's true, right? We're all for market research and building towards the market in itself. That's fine. But what happens when you're building in confusion based on market research? What happens is, that the market needs this, or you have an inkling of an idea that this would be good because it will hit XYZ amount of people, and then you start building towards it. But the truth of it is, in that moment, you're confused because you have no full understanding of why. All you know is this is buildable. I can build this, I can do it. But in reality, we're building in confusion. And that in itself is one, if not the greatest issue early stage founders face in my book. Personally, to be honest, I kept starting new things for years. I would always have something I was building, a new project I was working on, and I would always have a reason why the last one didn't work and this one was, when in reality, I didn't understand what I was doing. A new project gave me dopamine. It always started made me feel like I was alive or something was going to eventually work. I always thought I was the founder who knew when something was no longer working or I wasn't the right person, and I just had momentum to keep going and go on to something else, all in the name of pivoting. But I wasn't pivoting. I was simply escaping. I stayed busy so I wouldn't have to feel. I wouldn't have to feel what my mistakes were, reflect and all. And just in all truth, avoid stillness. But the thing is, stillness would have caused me to reflect and reflect deeper. Reflect, why isn't this thing working? What is the issue? And actually understand things. It would have made me question, like, what am I actually trying to build? What's the impact I'm making? Who is this for? When would they use it? How would they use it? So I stayed loud. I stayed active. I was always moving. I was always in motion. Because motion felt safer than the truth. But here's what I didn't understand then. Those years in themselves weren't useless. I mean, every failure in itself was a lesson and a teacher. In as much as I wasn't able to understand why or what was going on, those failures in themselves and the experiences taught me a lot, which now paves the way for a lot of the things I'm doing now, and a lot of the experiences and a lot of things I simply understand now was because I tried many things, I failed at many things, and I learned a lot of things. The truth of the matter is, I was learning without context. And what happens is, learning without context feels like suffering. So it felt like I was suffering for years. Then clarity came, but not all at once. But everything is stacked up. The failures stacked up, the mistakes stacked up, and one day it all just made sense. All the confusion, all the wasted time made so much sense. I wasn't behind. In fact, I was training and preparing and learning. What I thought at the time was wasted time, funny enough, became my unfair advantage. Because now when I do things, when I move, I don't just move. I'm not just guessing. I recognize things, I recognize patterns, and I understand. The thing is, like me, a lot of us have been taught a wrong definition of progress. We think progress in itself equals motion. That means more content, more launches, more updates, more visibility, more. But we fail to understand that is not progress. That is noise. Fail to understand that you can be moving and still be lost. You can be busy and still be stuck. Progress isn't about how much you move, it's actually about where you're going. But a lot of people don't know, so they overcompensate with speed. So speed becomes their identity. The concept of business in itself becomes their proof. But people fail to forget, just as musical notes mumbled together, though they may be a lot, not well organized, isn't music, it's noise. Speed without direction isn't motion, it's confusion. But here's the paradox. While motion alone isn't progress, starting is still everything. Most people honestly don't fail because they tried. They fail because they never began. They wait for confidence, but confidence in itself is a result, not a requirement. They wait for clarity, saying, one day everything is going to be clear, things will be clearer, and I'll go that way. But they fail to understand that clarity comes from action. You don't need a perfect plan. What you actually need is a first step, because starting is how you enter reality. So here's the real formula. Motion in itself gets you feedback. Feedback then gets you clarity. With clarity, you get confidence. And with that confidence, you then make actual momentum. It's not the other way around. Look, you cannot think your way into a new life. You actually have to work your way, do your way into a new life. It's a funny paradox that motion doesn't equal progress, but progress cannot be achieved without motion. But look, how this works is, you see the guys who eventually go from motion to progress. They are not actually the most intelligent, the smartest. No, heck, they are not even the most favored. They are just the guys who are willing to look dumb, unintelligent, and most of all, willing to do and to learn. Why? Like I said, they get motion. They start knowing where they are going. They have a direction. And for every time they get feedback, they learn something on how to actually go in that direction. And that is progress. Because eventually, if you look through it, they go from motion, and then they get some version of feedback, and then they get clarity on, okay, why this didn't work and why it should work this way towards our goal. And then they are more confident because they faced that challenge, and now they go and continue. Momentum. The difference between these guys and most of you watching this is a good number of you are too afraid to be seen fail. And the funny thing is, because of that, you failed before you even began. Popular founder culture says, always ship, move fast, break things. And yes, that ideology isn't in itself completely wrong. It's just incomplete. Most founders just build and ship because they are avoiding stillness. And yes, is there an element to building and shipping constantly that is necessary? Yes, there is. But when building and shipping in itself becomes a way to avoid the stillness that comes from reflection, there lies the problem. I mean, most founders are constantly building and shipping, like I said, to avoid stillness and to avoid thinking deeper and, okay, what are we actually building? Where are we actually going? Why are we going this way? Because stillness forces truth. It forces the truth of what you're building, what you're becoming, what you're avoiding. So instead of sitting down with these questions, they ship. Because shipping gives dopamine, but stillness gives the clarity that they need. And unfortunately, clarity is uncomfortable. You know, I used to think that momentum meant output, but I've come to learn and I know better. Because now, for me, momentum means volume with depth, speed with direction, and generally the truth over all the applause. If you take anything from this video, let it be, you don't technically need to move faster, but you need to move clearer. You don't always have to ship faster, but you definitely need to ship right. And all in all, momentum itself is not something you chase. It's a byproduct of alignment. If this hits you, it's because deep down, you already knew it. You don't need another productivity hack, another aspire to Maguire, whatever. In reality, you need the truth. And if you're tired of running in circles, if you're tired of being busy and unfulfilled, if you're tired of moving without meaning, then this is your moment. Not to just do more, but to do it right. Follow if you want more depth and not just noise and hype. Subscribe if you want alignment and not confusion. And share this with someone who is just tired of pretending that they are okay. Because momentum isn't speed, it's direction, and direction changes everything.